So today I'm going to do something completely different than I normally do. I have this AIPHONE doorbell camera, bought about 6 years ago, and well, I guess it was fine at the time. I never really got good images. It was very useful. It was just basically an intercom. But I want to replace it with one of these rings that I got from Amazon. I think it's the Ring Pro something, I don't know. But we have the problem is this is way too small, and there's a box here just slightly bigger than where the screws are. So I need to make some type of faceplate for this to make it look decent. So I bought one of these, a metal 3-gang jumbo size stainless, I think it's stainless steel faceplate from Kyle. I think it's Kyle Faceplates, which is, I just was Googling and they said the places had said that you could get, basically blank metal plates. They were electric size plates, but I figured, I took some measurements, figured that would work. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make a template. Is I took a piece of paper, not piece of paper, piece of cardboard, and drew out the dimensions, and I'm gonna cut that out. And then I'm gonna go remeasure the holes, drill holes, make sure they fit over the AIPHONE. And you might be asking, why not just take the AIPHONE cover off, because there's stuff on the front and back, it will never sit flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, make sure it fits, and then I will use those holes to drill a template in this. Now I have a correct size cardboard template of the same size as the faceplate. I'm going to go measure the holes on the original mounting box, and then I'll make holes in the cardboard, make sure they actually are correct by holding it over the faceplate. And then I will use those holes to magic marker basically the drill holes on the back of the faceplate, which I will then drill out. So the screw holes, the plate is 140 millimeters across, 190 millimeters down, and the screw holes are 100 millimeters across and 165 millimeters down. So I made a quick template on the back, making from the corner I did not cut, and I actually would have liked to use the bottom corner just so that both edges were straight, but I'm going to go from the bottom corner because this is a straight line. Even though I cut this as straight as I could, there will be some variance because, I'm not a machine. So always, whenever measuring things, measures from something that is straight. So I come in, 140 is a total distance, 100 is the screw hole. So to center it, it's going to be 20 on each side. So it's 140 minus 100 divided by 2. That's 20. So I'm going to go in 20 millimeters, make a line, and then from there I'm going to go over 100 millimeters, make another line, and then we have the opposite. It's 190 minus 165. So to center it, I'm going to take that 190 minus 165, which is 25 divided by half. So that's about 12. So I come up from the straightest edge I have, which actually I think was this edge, come up 12 and draw a line, and then from there I want to go up, what was it? 165, and that's about 12 up there. It should be technically 13. But so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Mark the points, and I'm going to drill them out. Then I'm going to use that to make sure it actually is correct. I can hold it over the screw holes, and then we'll drill it out. So the screws on the AIPHONE, the JK-DVF, I want to reuse these because I want to use the housing that they're in, and I like that they're using Torx security bits. So I want to use these. So I'm going to drill a hole about as wide, just slightly wider than the actual screw is. So we'll get out our micrometer here, and it's about 1.53 inches. So that's slightly smaller than 3/16. So I want it to be a little bigger, so I'll use 3/16 as a drill bit. I'm going to also want to put a hole directly in the center because I want to mount this thing in the center and I have to have a hole for the screws or for the power cords. So I'm just going to make an X between the 4 dots of the mounting, and in that where the X hits, that's going to be where I drill another hole. So it's going to be like so right here. That should be about the center. So after going through all this, I decided there was too much loss from using the different forms and trying to place it on there from one to the other to the other. Too much inaccuracy for me. So what I did, and I ended up doing basically the same thing I did on here, but on the actual board, a plate with, and I just put regular tape over it so I could draw lines, just like I did on this, and then I drilled them out that way. So now we're going to mount or drill the holes to mount this. This is the Ring, I think it's the Ring Doorbell, Video Doorbell Pro. Got on Black Friday or whatever it was. It is 115 millimeters tall, and we're going to center it, so we don't even have to know how wide it is, because the screw holes are centered already, and we're just going to center it between the screw holes because they're already centered. So it's 100 millimeters apart, so we're just going to 50 millimeters from each line. We're going to draw a line like I did here, and then all we got to do is we have to figure out, it was the plate itself was 190, and we got 115, so 190 minus 115 is, what is that? 165? No, 175. 175 millimeters, I'm sorry, 75 millimeters divided by half is 37.5, so about 37 millimeters we're going to choose from one end of this thing. So I'm just going to do 37 millimeters, and then we just got to measure these holes, which are 115. So I'm just going to, from 37, I'm going to do 115. And then I'm just going to make sure that that actually is about 37 from the end. Did I do my math right? Let's find out. Okay, I actually initially measured at 32, not 37.5 or 38. So we remeasured it, and that's about right. Just the important thing is that it looks about center, and that our holes are 115 apart, and they're going to be. So we'll drill that out. So I just realized that this plate, I measured it wrong. It's 110. I'm sorry. It's 105, not 115. So we just got to move each mark in by 5 millimeters. So I did that. Actually, I just moved the top. I measured the top, moved it 5, and then remeasured 115 or 110. No, 105. Wow, I'm really bad with numbers today. Been drinking too much. So there we go. The holes are 1/8, which is about a size 4 screw. Now we'll need something. You'll need like size 4 metal screws so you can bolt it on, since they're designed to go into the normal kit. Just gives you to go to the anchors. I don't have any size 4 metal screws. I have size 6, or not metal screws, the whatever, machine screws. So I'm actually gonna probably just put a piece of wood back here and screw it directly in there. I also marked the area. It's actually not center. Just did this to figure out where I should drill the hole for the screws. And I'm gonna try to find a a drill bit that I actually have a grommet for. The finished plate. I didn't have a grommet, so since I'm going to use a wooden block anyway, I just drilled this little hole. I filed this down pretty good. I'm going to use this little hole, which is drilled smaller, so they should really never, the cable shouldn't move around. I may actually just glue them into place too. I screwed the terminals in. Now we're just going to go ahead and put them in the plate and immediately put the wood thing on so these things don't move around too much. I also went ahead and put some electrical tape, a couple strips on, and put just a small hole and pushed it through so the electrical tape actually goes through the other side and protects the edge a little more. I'm super paranoid about that kind of stuff. So we'll screw it in. I just realized these anchors actually would have been perfect grommets. I could have screwed up, made a hole this big, put it through, and then just cut off the edge. That would have been a great grommet. And now the finished product. So probably tomorrow I'll set that up maybe outside.